also described as alternate universes, has been proposed by theoretical scientists. In the absence of direct evidence, the case for multiple universes is related to the principle of Occam's razor. The existence of our universe and possibly quantum decoherence within it are most simply explained by the existence of many universes. A multiverse of a somewhat different kind has been envisaged within the 11-dimensional extension of string theory known as M-theory. In M-theory, our universe and others are created by collisions between membranes in an 11-dimensional space. Unlike the universes in the quantum multiverse, these universes can have completely different laws of physics. Anything may be possible. The formation of our universe from a bubble of a multiverse was proposed by Lyndon Fitzwell with the widely accepted theory of inflation. There is also a strong line of reasoning leading to the conclusion that all possible worlds exist. A majority of cosmologists now believe that Everett's many worlds interpretation of quantum theory is correct. Now, and as you can see, my original assumption that with billions of people on this earth there couldn't possibly be a billion different gods just ran into a big stumbling block. After all, if the possibility of different universes exists, there likewise exists an infinite number of them. Everybody could be right. But is it true? I decided to tackle the problem from a different perspective. How did we come to exist in the first place? In the twinkling of an eye we live in a world of white, black, red, yellow, and numerous variations of skin-colored human beings. Aside from color, we are all the same, not basically the same, we're all the same, period. DNA research shows that we all come from the same thing, but there the story of humanity becomes less clear, open to interpretation, and religious belief and history come into the picture. From a Judeo-Christian, Muslim belief system, which by the way comprises the majority belief system on the planet, human beings are the creation of a God. Man was made in God's image. Adam was the first man. Eve was the first woman made from a rib of Adam. But is this true? Well, surprisingly, the story in the Bible of the creation of Eve from Adam's rib is an accurate accounting of how you would go about cloning human beings. First, the Bible recounts that in making Eve, the female, Adam was put to sleep, then a rib was removed from his body. The science we know about this now is that the male of our species has both the Y and X chromosome. The female has only the XO. Only the male of our species can make both a male and a female. The female is only capable of making a copy of herself. Men determine the sex of any human child. The rib bone comes into play when doing cloning, and that bone marrow is needed, specifically the DNA from the marrow, and the only bone in the human body we could fully function without is indeed a rib bone. Now, and granted, there is a lot of science that goes into this, and for those of you interested, there's a whole chapter at the end of this book devoted to all the science relating to cloning. So, far from being a myth, the Bible actually provides a sound scientific basis for the origins of our species. But, does this make everything it says true about the origins of our species? How we came to be? No. And the reason is that the book in the Bible that describes all of this, Genesis, is more likened to the Reader's Digest condensed version of the much longer Sumerian creation epic. The Epic of Creation is the Sumerian version of how the world began and includes to some degree the formation of the other members of the solar system. The Sumerian tale is also likely the source of the earliest chapters of the Bible's Genesis, the latter, which might be considered to be an executive summary of the original. Their similarities are highlighted in comparative religions among other places, but the fact that Genesis was written during the Hebrews' captivity in Babylon, c. 600 BCE, where access to the Babylonian version of the epic was readily available, is undoubtedly important. The Sumerian Epic of Creation and Genesis both have the interesting feature of being scientifically accurate in terms of what was created first. In creating a world, you begin with energy, light, form the planet itself, divide the land from the water, grow grass, herbs, fruit in that order, initiate day, night and seasons, create fish, fowl, cattle, creeping thing and beasts of the earth again, in that order, until finally you create man. then you get really clever and create woman. But there is also the distinction between the cosmic creation and the earthly ones. In the Genesis version, the heavens were created separate from the earth by the means of a firmament, while the sun and moon were specifically mentioned as two great lights. In the Sumerian version, which is decidedly less ego-earth-centric, all of the other planets may be considered to have been described in various stages of grouping themselves into the current arrangement. It's just that their names were often attributed to gods, instead of gods and planets. Let there be light. In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. Assuming this quote from the Bible is a correct statement, it nevertheless does not necessarily imply that the heaven thus created consisted of the stars, the galaxies, or even our sun, much less the entire universe. There is, in fact, the distinct possibility that the act of creation described in the first verse of the first chapter of Genesis refers to the creation of the heaven and the earth as a simultaneous event. In other words, the biblical heaven is only about 4.3 billion years old, in effect, the same age as the earth, a significant deviation.